We're here at Big 12 Media Days, day one, where Arizona State was represented by 6 players and head coach Kenny Dillingham. For Devil's Digest, I'm Justin Lacertosa. That's publisher Hode Rubino and Hode. All morning and afternoon, we were out talking to players, getting different perspectives. Kenny Dillingham seemed like the main event kind of all the coaches. He was the last one to go up on stage and talk to the media. A lot of different voices and perspectives that we got. What were some of your main takeaways?
Yeah, I do think that, one thing that I did ask other players, is it hard to walk that fine line between not harping too much on what happened in 2024, a successful 11-win season, a Big 12 championship, to also really taking that foundation built last year and really applying it to 2025. Because I think when you talk about the potential success the Sun Devils can have, it's obviously based on what have you done for me lately, which is obviously what we saw last season, one of the best years in program history. And I think that the players do really recognize what really needs to be put way, way back in the rearview mirror, and what really has to be taken from that special campaign and applied to this year. So I think that just the attitude that the players do exhibit, and really it starts with Kenny Dillingham, because I asked him when he was on stage, what was really said in that first team meeting when the team came back after winter break in January, that really was in your mind need to set the stage for 2025. And he said, plain and simple, okay, guys, are you just already sick and tired of hearing all the good stuff they did last year and how great the Sun Devil program was? Now it's time really to turn the page, because what took place last year wasn't really all that special. Yes, teams do have one season where everything does align in their way. They have a higher level of talent than usual, and they win the Big 12 championship, and they win 11 games. But now repeating it, that's the quote-unquote not normal scenario. Kenny Dillingham said many times before, there's only one team that repeated as Big 12 champions, and they're not even in the conference anymore, and that was Oklahoma. So think about, going back to years past, Texas A&M, Nebraska. None of those teams won Big 12 championships in back-to-back years. So Arizona State is really aiming to do something that is not common at all in this conference. Another thing that I really picked up by talking to some of the players is just really having the team culture, pay dividends not only last year, but also how this team is preparing for this year. And I think that players are just really, really holding themselves accountable, making sure they don't stray from the standard that was established last year and is really followed to a T. And it was a really big key for the success. So I just think that, missing everything that we heard from the players and Kenny Dillingham, I think this team is really entering the season in the right mindset. And again, just being very careful of not resting on their laurels for 2024, but also really taking a lot of the positives that took place last year, knowing that this is a building block for the future beginning in 2025. And I know, Justin, you also talked to some players. I'm just curious, what are kind of themes that you picked up from those individuals throughout the day?
Big thing from Ben Coleman that he mentioned is, as a leader within the O-line and just on the team as a whole, details. That's arguably the most important thing to sustaining success, especially when you retain the talent and the guys that are on this roster. I mean, only losing one defensive starter and not much offensively either, and all of those guys mostly went to the NFL draft and went to go play pro. It's not like anyone just took their ball and went home. Coleman talked a lot about those details, and they have a running joke, like Jordan Tyson dropped a water bottle or something this morning, and they all joked around with him, like, you got to lock in on the details, kid. Just little stuff like that not only just keeps them bought in just as guys, as friends, as teammates, but also kind of keeps that same mindset there. We have to be locked in on these details on the field, off the field, and as we do that every single day, our schemes will get better, we'll get more in tune. Chemistry-wise, I think that was the biggest thing that I kind of took away. And Jordan Tyson as well kind of mentioned he's been fine with his collarbone injury that he suffered towards the end of last season. But at this point, just maintaining that, getting stronger, staying healthy, making sure he doesn't get injured again, and talking with his team and making sure that he's in the best positions to be healthy. And I think maybe the best answer, and this is from Kenny, came from a question that wasn't even about ASU. Someone asked him, he made a tweet a couple months ago saying Texas Tech could win the Big 12. And he was asked his thoughts about that. And he said, yeah, they arguably have the best transfer portal in the entire country. but that's not what we're about. I never want to see our faces on the rankings for recruiting or transfers. I want to be number one every single year in retention. And I think it stems from little things like that, details on the field, off the field, and the players have fully bought into that as well.
Yeah, and I really give Kenny Dillingham a lot of credit, for saying that in the era of NIL, in the era of transfer portal. I mean, sure, every team out there in the country wants to retain as many players as possible. How realistic is it when you have NIL and transfer portals sometimes really seeming out of control? And I know that things should be streamlined with this NIL clearinghouse that went into effect just a couple of weeks ago, and I guess it's going to be the standard moving forward. How much that can really streamline NIL, I think time will tell. Maybe it looks great on paper, but we can see what really happens in reality. I know there's also a panel of all the head coaches that were here today, and I think they all in unison said there only should be one transfer portal. Forget about that spring transfer portal. Spring is just really where you have to just hone on your preparations for the upcoming season. You only have 15 practices where you can just really have a quote-unquote normal football practice, and that's what it should be your focus, not thinking like, okay, which player can I really make happy in the process so they don't bail out of me even before spring practice ends or right after it does conclude. One thing Kenny Dillingham did say, and something that really he didn't say for the cameras, he didn't say because it was Big 12 Media Days, that his number one priority is just really for the welfare of the player. And again, it's so easy to be cynical in the era of the transfer portal, in the era of NIL, to really just put that aside, and it's really winning above everything. And if you're benefiting the player, that's really a luxury and a necessity. But I think when Kenny Dillingham really walks the talk, ever since he got to Arizona State, even during that tough 3-9 season to begin his tenure in Tempe, that has really been his guiding light. Obviously, that attitude has paid a lot in the success they had in 2024. And to Kenny Dillingham's credit, the retention of the players in 2025. We talk about nearly 80% of the production returning, both on offense and on defense. And that's without two star players. The best player on offense, Cam Scadaboo last year. The best player on defense last year in Shamari Simmons and Nickelback. And for ASU still to return so much experience, so much production. That's why I think it bodes well for Arizona State chances of repeating as Big 12 champions. Maybe we don't know exactly what the media thinks because, again, there was no preseason media poll. And I thought it was kind of funny, Justin, like some folks thought that it maybe hurt Arizona State that they were picked 16th and ended up being the Big 12 champions, maybe kind of casting a shadow over the conference. Kenny Dillingham in a very pragmatic way, which I'm not surprised at all to hear that answer, and I can't fault him for having that answer, saying that he could not care less that ASU went, from the basement to the penthouse, if you will, in a span of 1 year. But I just think that, overall, I personally liked what the fans and players did have to say today. You guys probably already caught some of our videos, and you're gonna see some more in the next 24 hours. You can hear just a really a positive vibe from Kenny Dillingham, from the players. And I think it was a pretty fun day in this shrine for the Dallas Cowboys. This is really a sight to behold. I know Justin did a great job catching some of the sights and sounds of this great facility. Not going to be surprised if the Big 12 Media Days comes back here, because it seems like the commissioner, Brett Yormark, was very, very happy with the setup today.
For sure, and we were talking about it before. You don't have to be a Cowboys fan to admit it, that this is one of, if not the best facility for all sports in the entire country. And I mean, just a great venue to host something like this. A lot of interesting insight came today from the 8 programs that represented, and then 8 more programs being represented tomorrow for day 2 of Big 12 Media Days. For now, I'm Justin Lastratosa. That's publisher Hoder Bino. To stay locked in on everything ASU related, go to DevilsDigest.com. Follow Devils Digest on Twitter at DevilsDigest. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.